Joining us on the show is our good friend Hope Zvara, founder of Mother Trucker Yoga. Hope, what's up?
Hey, there's a lot of things that are up, but currently right now it's talking to you. What's going on?
Oh, not a lot. You got to put everything else aside, Hope. I need you.
What's going on? Talk to me.
Well, I went to a chiropractor yesterday, and it's because I've been for the last 8 days or so dealing with a really bad back issue that I've had, and it turned out that I had a separation in two of the bones in my pelvis, and that was causing a lot of nerve pain, and I just couldn't find comfort. And so I finally went to the chiropractor, got straightened out with the help of this guy. And it got me thinking that back pain and truckers suffering from issues due to their highly sedentary lifestyle would be a good topic to get into, given my personal situation. And when I think about being healthy in the truck, I think about you.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be thought of.
Yeah. And also, I did have a note when I opened the medicine cabinet this morning. My wife had written a note that says, "Don't forget to take your vitamin M." And where did that come from?
Okay, what genius told you about vitamin
I don't
M?
know, but I shared it with my wife, and she made a note for the inside of the cabinet to remind everybody that you got to be moving. So anyway, I just wanted to invite you on and get your take on what's going on with back health, and share with people some of the good news that there is a solution and there's help for folks out there. So would you share a little bit about how prevalent back pain is in trucking and what people might be able to do about it?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, the vitamin M that Casey is talking about is movement. That movement is a nutrient, a vitamin, something you should be taking daily. And you don't need a prescription. You don't need to go do a doctor. There's no copay needed. It's something that you can be taking every single day. We as humans are meant to move. We're not meant to be sedentary. And as a truck driver, you don't have the luxury always just to get up and walk to the water cooler or take a lap around the office. Like, that would be scary. Don't do that. Bad idea. But when it comes to back pain, well, first of all, more than 90% of Americans have had or currently have back pain at any given time. That's a huge percentage.
Big number.
That's a very big number. And for a lot of us, we've normalized it. So the first thing first, those of you listening, have you normalized a sensation in your body, pain, let's call it, discomfort, and just accepted it as aging, as a part of the job? Many of us tell ourselves these stories, and it really then leads us away from ever doing anything about it and creating a solution. And if you have back pain right now and you're thinking, man, it might be because of my job, it might be because of what I'm doing, I want you to know that there are solutions out there. There are things out there that you can do, but you got to do them. And that's really what I want to talk about right now is, well, what could I do right now? A lot of what I teach drivers is things that they can do in their environment. And so you're driving all the time, you're behind the wheel, you can't get away from it because if you don't drive, you're not getting paid. And so when you're driving, first things first, a lot of what we're feeling, that stiff feeling, Casey, you know, when you've been sitting a long time or driving and you get out of the vehicle and you're like, give me a second, and you're half hunched over and you have to like slowly make your body sit upright again.
Yes, I know that.
I'm talking about that feeling. Well, to prevent that or reduce that from happening, we have to move our body more frequently while we're sitting. And so some of the cool things that you can be doing while you're driving are what's called pelvic tilts. That's you sitting upright, pull your back slightly off the seat behind you, and just arc your lower back as much as you possibly can. You're going to kind of feel your tailbone turn backwards. And then as you breathe out, just pull your belly in, kind of tuck your tailbone up between your legs and round out your back. It's like worst posture ever position.
Right.
And just repeat that. And the cool thing about a movement like pelvic tilts is, one, you are bringing blood flow down to the pelvis and the legs. Interesting fact, truck drivers actually are one of the highest percentage of groups of people for like job-wise that have UTI infections. Because they're sitting all the time and there's no blood flow. There's no circulation going down there. And so it's super important to get that circulation and blood flow going and movement to help reduce and help eliminate some of that stiff lower back feeling. So the first thing is pelvic tilts. Do them for a minute. Do them while you're waiting in traffic, and it's like until it starts moving again, I'm going to do these. You can kind of make up your own rules with this. But that's the first one, is pelvic tilts. The second one, for those of us that are experiencing back pain, be it low, mid, or upper back, we want to think about moving laterally. Most of what we do during the day is forward moving. Think about it. If you're going to go, you're going to walk, people are like, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to go for a run. Everything is forward moving. I'm going to do bicep curls, all in a forward plane of motion. I want you to move laterally, that's side to side. So even in your truck seat, try lifting your right hip up like you're trying to touch your hip to your ribs, and then do the same thing on the left side. You might feel, that one side is harder to do this because those are muscles, obliques. But two, you might notice some little twinges or some stiffness, sometimes on the opposite side. That's a good sign that you're not moving your body in that direction or in that way frequently enough. The cool thing about a simple movement like that, even while you're sitting, is the obliques. I look at the obliques like the frame of the house. When you have weak obliques, that main construction, which is your spine, doesn't have any support beams. And so a simple move like a hip hike, just you sitting in your chair doing as many as you can, try to do 100, heck. And doing that, you're going to build oblique strength, but you're also going to mobilize the lower back. And I got one more for you guys, especially for lower back. And so the last one we want to think about is hip hulas. I don't know. I went to Hawaii when I was like 18, and I got the opportunity to go and see like an authentic hula dance, I don't know what they call it, a little display. And these women were like ridiculous in how they could move their hips so fluidly and not move the rest of their body.
Yep.
Most of us do not have that type of range of motion. And so we want to increase that range of motion. And so while you're sitting, can you circle your pelvis, kind of like a little pretend hip hula, and do 5 or 6 one direction and then do 5 or 6 the other? But here's the cool part. Can you do it without moving your upper body? If you can't, this is like a test, okay? Mm-hmm. If you can't, your body is very stiff, very rigid. Our body should be able to move both in unison but also individually. And so if you're feeling like, whoa, how come I can't do that? You're probably a candidate that is either having back pain or is on the highway towards back pain. So the key really here.
Trucking Radio and the SXM app.
Welcome back into Road Dog Live. Casey hanging out with you. And joining us on the show is our good friend.
Because we want to increase that range of motion. And so while you're sitting, can you circle your pelvis, kind of like a little pretend hip hula, and do 5 or 6 one direction and then do 5 or 6 the other? But here's the cool part. Can you do it without moving your upper body? If you can't, this is like a test, okay? Mm-hmm. If you can't, your body is very stiff, very rigid. Our body should be able to move both in unison but also individually. And so if you're feeling like, whoa, how come I can't do that? You're probably a candidate that is either having back pain or is on the highway towards back pain. So the key really here is mobility. How well can my body move? This isn't about being the most flexible person. This isn't about touching our toes, because for some of us, we might have short arms and long legs, and that's just never going to be possible.
Right.
But the name of the game here is, can I move my body? And here's the last thing here, Casey, and we can all do this. Once you're done driving for the day, take the test. And I want you to go from your feet to your head and to your fingertips and see if you can move every joint freely. That's like, can I move my toes? Can I move my ankles in both directions? How well do my knees move? Can I squat? Can I extend my leg back? Can I rotate my body? Can I roll my shoulders or make my arms like windmills? Or do I hear like clicking and crunching and popping when I do that? How well do my elbows move, my neck move, all of that? And take inventory of how well your body moves, because when we have back pain, it's not just the back. Sometimes it's the surrounding tissues and muscles, fascia, connective tissue, all that is restricted or weak, that's causing the back to have pain. It's not always the literal area that we have pain, and that can be so confusing for people. So take inventory of yourself. See how well you move or don't move, and then maybe give a little love and attention to that area that maybe isn't ideal or isn't working optimally.
Very good, man. I tell you what, that is such a comprehensive rundown on just simple things that folks can do to, number one, get motion in their day while they're driving for long stretches of time, and provide a solution to blood flow and that sedentary lifestyle that is inherent with every job where you're sitting for long stretches of time. And it also comes, I think, Hope, with a really good idea for something that you can do to keep people engaged. And it has to do with that luau, belly dancing kind of move, whatever it was. I think it would be really cool if Mother Trucker Yoga had one of those little dashboard hula ladies, and it was actually you in a little hula skirt. And so people can just get it and stick it on their dash, and every time they see Hope doing the hula dance, they can remind themselves, hey, I need to do a hip hike, or I need to do a pelvic tilt. It's a good time for me to do it. Yeah. So I won't take any credit for the idea, but I would love to see one of those on every dashboard in America.
And it's all about the simple reminders. One of the things that I teach my drivers is I love Post-it notes. And so technology is great, but here's the problem with technology and our phones and our iPads. Everything is stored in there, and we don't see it. And many of us, we need to see things visually to be reminded. Mm-hmm. And so take a Post-it note, stick it on your dashboard that says, remember to move. And every time you see it, it's like a guilt trip from me through the Post-it note. I'm like yes, telepathically reaching you, and it says, remember to move. And a lot of my drivers have done that. One that says, sit up straight. Or set an alarm on your phone every 20 minutes or half hour in a different ringtone. Don't use the same as like an alarm, because you're triggering something very different for your brain to think about.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's my movement alarm. And all of these little things can really make a big difference for how you feel. I've had back pain before. I've had injury before. And, man, it can just take over, not just your physical, but your mental and emotional. And there are solutions out there, but you have to be the one that drives towards them.
Awesome. Hope, how can folks find out more about you and what it is that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. You can come check us out over at mothertruckeryoga.com. We're all on all social platforms. Same thing, Mother Trucker Yoga. But if you want some of these solutions right in your hands, definitely check out my book, Trucking Yoga, Simple Fitness for the Long Haul. You can laugh about the yoga if you want. It's not what you think. I'm really teaching drivers practical solutions just like this, all in the cab of the truck, where you can just open up and you can just look right there and be like, man, I could do that. And that's really what my goal is here, to help more than 1 million drivers change lanes in their health and fitness with small, simple changes. You can be one of those drivers that changes lanes and is able to live a happy, healthy lifestyle and be a truck driver at the same time. I believe you can have both.
Fantastic. Hope, thanks so much for coming on and sharing with us. And we're going to have to jump out of the way for a quick break. If you guys want some good answers, go to mothertruckeryoga.com, and Hope can help. We're going to take a quick time out.